Hi, today we are going to do chapter 14, The Problem of Scarcity, and I'm going to read through that chapter for you, and then there will be an assignment that goes along with this chapter of terms and definitions, and then some study card questions. The topic is scarcity, and our state standard is the fundamental question of economics include what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. Interestingly enough, this is a huge thing right now with the scarcity of toilet paper, with the scarcity of personal protective masks and hand sanitizer and a variety of other things that have become very scarce. So this chapter is actually right now a very, very relevant chapter to what's going on in our current life. There are not enough resources to produce all the goods and services that people need or want. Societies develop economic systems to decide what to produce, how to produce it, and how to distribute what is produced. After reading this chapter, you should be able to define the following terms: goods, services, problem of scarcity, traditional economy, command economy, free market economy, producer, consumer, supply, demand. You should also be able to identify the fundamental questions of economics, explain how individuals and societies answer the fundamental questions of economics, and explain why limited resources require individuals and societies to make choices. The main idea of this content statement: goods. Goods are things that people make. Goods can be seen and touched. That's your definition for the term goods. Some goods are consumed or used up very quickly, such as food, toothpaste, hairspray, and baked goods. Other goods are used over and over again. They slowly wear out and often can be maintained and repaired, such as toys, clothes, cars, or even houses. Department stores, shoe stores, and supermarkets all sell goods to consumers. Services. Services are actions that people perform for others. For example, a doctor checks the health of a patient and prescribes medicine, while a banker provides financial services. People who provide services include plumbers, electricians, teachers, barbers, doctors, lawyers, nurses, waitresses, and auto mechanics. So your term services is another one that will be on your sheet, and the definition are actions that people perform for others. For example, a doctor, a banker, a plumber, electrician, teachers, barbers, lawyers, nurses, waitresses, and auto mechanics. That would be the definition you would use for services. The problem of scarcity. As you learned, economics is the study of how individuals, businesses, and countries make things, use things, and earn, spend money, and save money. People who study economics are called economists. Economists see the basic problem of economics as the problem of scarcity. So, the problem of scarcity is the basic problem of economics. If something is scarce, there is not enough of it. The problem of scarcity is based on two facts: unlimited wants and limited resources. So when you do that definition, problem of scarcity, you would say economists see it as the basic problem of economics. If something is scarce, there's not enough of it. It is based off of unlimited wants and limited resources. That would be your definition. Unlimited wants. There are many things that each of us want. This is just part of human nature. Even if we have everything we want, we would then find new things we would want. Therefore, human beings have unlimited wants. And your definition for unlimited wants would be if we had everything we want now, we would then find new things that we wanted. Therefore, human beings have unlimited wants. So that's kind of your definition for that one. Limited resources. There are only limited resources in the world. The goods and services that each society can produce at any moment are limited. Thus, no society can ever fulfill all of its members' wants. And limited resources, it's goods and services that each society can produce at any one moment that are limited. That would be your definition that you can use for that one. And when we look at the scale, scarcity, the basic problem in economics, our limited wants outweigh our limited resources. Actually, I'm sorry, that should actually say our unlimited wants. So you might want to correct that on your paper. Our unlimited wants outweigh our limited resources. That's a typo in the book. Unlimited wants, all the goods and services that people all around the world want at any one time. That's a better definition. Use that one. Limited resources, all the goods and services available in the world at any one time. That's a better definition. Use that definition. Societies understand that they cannot satisfy all of their members' unlimited wants. Each society must therefore make choices. It must decide which things to produce with the limited resources it has available. Once it has decided to produce what to produce, it must decide how to produce those goods and services. Finally, it must decide who gets the goods and the services that are produced. Here are your 3 fundamental questions, and this is also on your worksheet. It will ask you, what are the 3 fundamental questions? And here they are. What should be produced? How should it be produced? Who gets what is produced? Those are your 3 fundamental questions. Society answers these 3 fundamental economic questions in different ways. Each way is referred to as an economic system. An economic system is the framework that a society uses to answer these fundamental questions. A traditional economy. The oldest type of economy system is a traditional economy. In a traditional economy, people simply follow tradition. They do what their ancestors did. And there's your definition. If a man's grandfather and father were fishermen, he will be a fisherman too. In these societies, the whole community might work together to harvest crops. People often grow just enough food to feed themselves and their families. Their focus is on meeting immediate needs, known as subsistence farming. Because people follow traditional ways, there is often no improvement. In a traditional economy, the 3 fundamental questions, economic questions, are what to produce, how to produce, and who gets what, are answered by following customs and tradition. A command economy. A command economy. In ancient times, strong rulers emerged in places like the Mesopotamia and Egypt. In these societies, the command economy emerged. In such economies, the rulers told everyone what to do. People generally followed tradition, but the ruler could command people to fight in wars, help with the harvest, or build pyramids. In a command economy, government rulers tell members of society how the fundamental questions will be answered. In these societies, the government directs the use of resources to make and distribute goods. More recently, governments have directed economic activities in dictatorships, in socialist societies, and even in freer societies in wartime or times of economic crisis. And we're kind of in one of those times right now when you think about it. In a command economy, the 3 fundamental questions, what to produce, how to produce, and who gets what, are answered by the government or its rulers. A market economy. The economic system of the United States is known as a market economy. In a market economy, also known as capitalism or free enterprise system, people own their own goods and property. People get to pick and choose what they do, just like a giant supermarket. Producers and consumers. In a market economy, the answer to the three fundamental questions are based off the interaction of two groups, producers and consumers. Producers are those who make goods and provide services, and there's your definition. They decide how much to produce and how to produce it. They also set their own selling prices. Consumers are those who buy the goods and services they want from the producers. And there again, there's your definition. In a market economy, producers are free to decide what goods and services to make and what prices to charge. How much consumers are willing to buy is based on their incomes, needs, and preferences. Consumers are free to spend their money on whatever products they want. They determine which businesses will eventually succeed through their buying decisions. If consumers do not buy a particular product, after a while, producers will lower their prices and may even stop making it. If the consumer likes the product, producers will make more of it since they are interested in making as much money as possible. If the demand for a product is greater than the available supply, producers may also raise their prices. And right now, you are seeing that with gasoline, the price keeps going lower and lower because nobody's buying it. And when we look at the other things that I'd mentioned earlier, the demand is very high, and you saw the prices go way up on those items because the demand was so high and there was such a limit of the resource. In a market economy, the basic questions, what to produce, how to produce, and who gets what, are answered by the interactions of the producers and consumers. Producers will eventually reach the point at which they are making and selling goods at the right price for the consumer demand to equal their supply. And that would be the end of chapter 14.